All right, let's dive into Wave Life Sciences, ticker WVE, and their Q2 2025 earnings. What we have here isn't just a simple earnings report. No, this is the classic biotech dilemma. You've got a really tough financial picture right now, set against a future that could be absolutely game-changing. So we're going to break down both sides of that story.
And this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? It's a tale of two companies in one. On one hand, you've got the numbers from the quarter. They missed on earnings, missed on revenue, and saw a huge drop from last year. But on the other hand, you've got the pipeline. We're talking a potentially revolutionary obesity drug, a first-of-its-kind RNA editing technology, and a whole bunch of data coming just around the corner. So the real question for any investor is, which one of these stories do you believe in more?
So first things first, let's tackle the bear case. Let's look at those hard numbers from Q2 that frankly paint a pretty challenging picture.
Oof, yeah. Right off the bat, the top-line revenue was a clear miss. The street was looking for more than $11.5 million, but Wave only brought in $8.7 million. That's a gap of almost $3 million bucks. Not great.
And it gets tougher. That revenue number was down almost 56% from the same time last year. Now, the company said this was mostly due to the timing of payments from their big partnership with GSK, which is a fair point, but still, a drop that big is going to make any investor sit up and take notice.
And you can see the weakness was pretty much across the board. They missed earnings per share by a couple of cents, and the company's net loss grew to over $50 million. I mean, that's a big jump from about $33 million just a year ago. So from a pure numbers perspective, you can't really spin it. It was a tough quarter.
Okay, but that was looking in the rearview mirror. In biotech, the past is often, well, it's just the past. So now we're going to flip the script and look at the bull case, which is all about the incredible promise of what's coming next.
This quote from the CEO, Paul Balno, really says it all. The whole vibe on the earnings call was confidence. They kept pivoting away from the Q2 numbers and pointing everyone's attention to the massive data readouts they've got lined up for the rest of the year. And this is where things get really exciting. The headliner is their obesity drug, WVA-007. Now, this isn't just another GLP-1 copycat. The goal here is healthy weight loss, meaning you lose the fat but keep the muscle. That is a huge differentiator. Plus, get this, they're aiming for once or even twice a year dosing. You can see why people are so hyped about this. And then there's this, VVE-006. It's for a rare disease called AATD, but it's much bigger than just one treatment. This could be a platform validator. We're talking about the first time RNA editing has been shown to work in humans. If it's successful, it could prove their entire approach to fixing diseases at the genetic level actually works. It's a massive deal.
So here it is. This is the slide that every single Wave investor is obsessed with right now. It is just a rapid-fire series of massive events. You've got data for AATD coming this quarter, then more in the fall, and then boom, the big one, obesity data in Q4. An environment this packed with catalysts can make a bad quarter feel like ancient history, and fast.
So we've got the ugly financials on one side and this super exciting catalyst-packed pipeline on the other, a real tug of war. Which leads to the million-dollar question, right? When the market had to choose between the bad news from the past and the potential good news for the future, what did it do?
And the answer is kind of nothing. The stock barely budged, closing down just under 2% on the day of the call. For a report with those kinds of misses, that's surprisingly quiet.
But here's the kicker. This happened on heavier than usual trading volume. So what does that tell us? It tells me the market basically shrugged and said, we don't care about Q2. Investors are in a total wait-and-see mode, holding their breath for that clinical data. The focus has completely shifted to what's next.
Okay, so with all that context, let's put on our analyst hats. What's our take? Where do we think this is all going?
Here's the bottom line for us. We are initiating coverage on Wave Life Sciences with an outperform rating.
And our thesis here is pretty simple. Right now, the pipeline story is way more powerful than the financial story. Number one, we see huge potential for the stock to get re-rated higher on that obesity data in Q4. Two, a win with the AATD program would validate their entire technology platform. And three, and this is crucial, they have a cash runway that gets them into 2027. That gives them the breathing room to actually hit these milestones.
So what do we expect to happen over the next couple of quarters? Honestly, we're predicting positive data for both programs. You just don't hear that level of confidence from a management team unless the early signs are good. And because of that, we expect the stock to start drifting higher as we get closer to those data releases, as the market completely shifts its focus to these future catalysts.
So, for Wave, the story isn't about the quarter they just reported. It's all about the next two. And the big question for investors is whether they're willing to ignore the past for a shot at a truly breakthrough future. And as always, a quick reminder, this is not financial advice.